All right. Hello, good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the BCSN Sports Wrap. My name's Brian Fulford, and soon I will be joined, I promise, by A.D. Drew. You know it's Sunday, so that means A.D. Drew is traveling somewhere. And as you can see, if you take a look at the background behind me, I am on the road as well, not in my home studio, but I'm in Atlanta in this beautiful man cave surrounded by all this Indianapolis Colts love behind me. But no, I'm in Atlanta because tomorrow myself and the BCSN crew, we will be heading over to Birmingham, Alabama for our live coverage of the 2024 SWAC Football Media Day in Birmingham, Alabama. Myself, A.D. Drew, Dr. Cavill, Charles Bishop, Kelvin Rozier, Carlos Brown. I think all of the BCSN shows will be in attendance at SWAC Media Day for the first time probably in about 2 or 3 years. So I think Mike Washington will be there, but looking forward to being there, looking forward to giving you live coverage. Thank you to everybody who watched our live coverage of SIAC Football Media Day. Props to Dr. Cavill, Charles Bishop, Jamie Walker, A.D. Drew. All of them were in attendance. So again, coming up on tonight's show, we got a special guest coming in to join us. It's been a while since we've had this young lady on the show. Miss Keisha Kelly will be joining us. Keisha, of course, Black College Experience is where you can find her. So I think she was at SIC Media Day, and I know she'll also be at SWAC Media Day. So we'll have Keisha on the show, I think, at the bottom of the hour. So it'll be a race to see who joins me first. Will it be A.D. or will it be Keisha? You guys chime in the chat room and let me know. But that's coming up. We got a lot of things to talk about. I want to thank everybody for being patient. I know we started an hour later than normal due to traveling. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, staying connected with us. Assuming if you guys got the memo, you're all subscribers, maybe to our Facebook or YouTube pages, or you hit the bell, you got the notifications on YouTube, or you got the event on Facebook. We appreciate all of you. Please go ahead and hit the thumbs up and the like button. However, and wherever you're watching us, maybe you're watching us on YouTube, on the JBN, the Jericho Broadcast Networks, which is the parent company of the Black College Sports Network. That's MyJBN Online. Or you maybe are watching us on our BCSN Sports Wrap YouTube page as well. Hello to everybody watching on Facebook, on the Black College Sports Network, and the BCSN Sports Wrap Facebook pages. To the folks watching on X, also known as Twitter, and those watching on Instagram Live, we say hello and salute to you as well. A lot of news and notes to get to. I'm going to say hello to everybody and those folks who were patient and those who jumped in. Jeff Roberts, Aggie Pride jumped in. Jeff must not have got the memo, but I appreciate him jumping in. Hopefully he didn't check in and then check out. Walter Harley as well. Good to see you coming in. Edwin Moore. Edwin, looks like you were at the I don't know, Edwin, were you at the Swingman game? Probably. It kind of looks like it. Says it was a really nice event. I did tune in. I will comment about the Swingman Classic. One of my pet peeves, or one of the things I learned about broadcasting baseball games, let's just say, if my father was watching me do that game, he would have chewed me out for a couple of reasons, and I will explain that a little bit later. I see Emmett Jones checking in. Not quite class. You know, we saved that for Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is a weekend rec show. best way I can put it, to put it nice. Coach Ferrasi, good to see you, Coach. Thanks for checking in to see whether we were actually doing the show and then coming in as well. Blue Jacket for life. Good evening to you. Mary 305, good to see you. Good to see you. Tamara T, good to see you, Tamara. Thank you for being a subscriber to the JBN YouTube channel as well. 3 different levels in which you can support the Black College Sports Network via our YouTube channel. So we want to encourage you, if you would, take some time out and consider joining our YouTube page, youtube.com/myjbnonline/join. And your donation definitely goes towards helping us at the Black College Sports Network continue to do what we do in our coverage. Let's see. Some other folks. Israel Carey, thank you for checking in as well. Walter Jones again. Meredith, good to see you, Meredith. Thanks for checking in. Yep. Let's see. All right. Few other folks checking in as well. So again, a lot of news to talk about, man. So I mean, look, normally I thought going into today that we were really only going to be talking about a review of SIAC football media day and then a preview of the SWAC and the CIAA media days, which are happening on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the weekend happened. Well, actually Friday. I mean, if you just look in the last 48 hours, let me see, Friday, Saturday, no, that's 72 hours. The last 72 hours has been loaded with all kinds of news, good, bad, and sad. More towards the latter 2/3, definitely. Chuck Hunt, good to see you checking in. Thank you, Chuck, for coming in. And we'll start with well, let me pull up my slides here. Edwin asks, is that my Colts room? This is actually, Edwin, to be perfectly honest and transparent, this is my sister's Colts wall. She actually has a better Colts wall than I do, which is just goes to show how she was raised. She was raised right by our dad. and she reps the Colts hard. But yeah, so I love coming to her place and representing here. I'm trying to see what there's an issue with a file. What file is having issues? Uh-oh. I hope it's not the file I hope it was. Okay. Okay. Let me get to the headline story. And it is a bit of a sad story, which broke, I don't know if it exactly, I guess it broke last night and overnight. And it's not politically based. It's actually a story involving a young man who was just inducted into the SIAC football media day, or into the SIAC football Hall of Fame. Excuse me. I want to make sure I get that right. I'm sitting here trying to do 5 different things. Okay, here we go. Sadly, having to kind of start the story or start the day's show with this very sad and tragic news that the class of 2024 SIAC Hall of Fame inductee and former NFL receiver Jacoby Jones passed away in his sleep overnight in his Houston home. Jacoby was 40 years old. Just the day before his 40th birthday on July 11th, Jones joined the SIAC in Atlanta to celebrate his induction into the SIAC Hall of Fame. Jones spent 9 seasons in the NFL with the Houston Texans, with the Baltimore Ravens, where he was most probably more prominently known as a Super Bowl champion and a heck of a special teams returner with that Ravens team. Believe he even returned a punt in the Super Bowl, the one that was in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken. Also members of the San Diego Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jacoby was, I believe, a 4-time All-SIAC member with Lane College Dragons. And just very sad, tragic news. I was reading a story here from the CBS Sports, which says, in a statement provided by the NFL Players Union on Sunday, the Jones family confirmed that Jacoby passed away peacefully at his home in New Orleans. The family released a statement saying, "We want to express our gratitude for all the kind thoughts and support you have shown us during this challenging time. Your ongoing support and respecting our privacy means a lot to us. We are deeply saddened to share that Jacoby Jones, a beloved former Ravens football player from New Orleans and a proud graduate of a historically Black college, has passed away at the age of 40. In a statement, the Jones family confirmed that Jacoby passed away peacefully at his home in New Orleans. The family, including his mother, Emily, and his son, little Jacoby, are together and are asking for your prayers, privacy, and support as they navigate through this difficult time." That was a statement from the family. The Baltimore Ravens also released a statement. Of course, again, Jones was a hero for his 108-yard kickoff return in the Super Bowl in 2012. The Ravens won that Super Bowl against the 49ers. Jones also caught a 56-yard touchdown pass from Super Bowl MVP quarterback Joe Flacco that ended up putting the Ravens up 21-3. So Jones was a 3rd-round pick of the Texans in 2007, where he played the first 5 seasons of his 9-year career. He was a first-team All-Pro returner and Pro Bowler in 2012, which was his first season in Baltimore. And so the acknowledgments and the prayers and thoughts are plentiful. I'm trying to see if I can pull up. I believe there was even a message from current Lane College football coach Byron Brown. See if I can pull it up here in a second. In a quote from Coach Brown, he said, quote, "To my friend and brother, in this moment, I am truly thankful for the time God allowed us to spend together. Your name will live forever until we meet again. Hashtag do it for 2, the number 2. And there you can see a picture there with Brown and SIAC Commissioner Holloman. In a statement from Commissioner Anthony Holloman, Dr. Anthony Holloman, the SIAC says, "We are deeply saddened to hear the news of Jacoby's untimely passing. He was a Hall of Fame talent who lit up any room he entered with his infectious personality. I am grateful we were able to honor him in front of his family, peers, while cementing his legacy in the SIAC." And so what I'd like to do now is I'm going to play the clip from the SIAC that they aired during the actual. They retweeted it, so maybe you've seen it on Twitter. But I'm gonna I look down and see A.D. Drew is in the building, so let me come to him real quick before I play that video. A.D., I'm hearing something. I'm hearing you now. Let's see if you can get your audio away. Hearing me. Check 1, 2. Still hearing me. Can I hear you? Okay, so A.D. is going to come back in a second. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and play the video from the SIAC. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it plays well. Maybe you have seen it, maybe you haven't seen it, but this is the video that the SIAC played during the Hall of Fame induction this past Wednesday. And they also retweeted this at the SIAC on X, Twitter, if you did not see it.
The way I played the game is just like growing up as a kid, throwing the ball up to yourself when you're outside. You know what I'm saying? Kids don't go outside no more. Go outside. The kids, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to go outside by myself, throw the ball up to myself. You know what I'm saying? Do this like 5, 4, throw it up and go get it. Go outside. You know, that's the way I played the game. So I didn't look at it like that. I just was playing. At Lane College, I had father figures. Those coaches was father figures. I had Darren Hayes. Then I had Johnny Cole. They both taught me ball. Darren Hayes was strict. Johnny Cole let me play the game. He taught me the game. But they both taught me the game of football. What helped me. They taught me how to be an adult. That was the biggest thing. They taught me how to be a grown man. To be drafted from Lane, when people said you would never be drafted from Lane, it's big, man. Like, I watched my mama faint, my whole family. We did the bus stop in the middle of the street. No bull. We were in the middle of the street doing a bus stop. My mama fainted. For Lane College, that lets you know you can go anywhere you want. When I was on Dance with the Stars, it was an experience. Karina was my partner, and we'll do our thing in 30 minutes. I've been learning to dance for 30 minutes. I'd be like, all right, but she'd be wanting to keep going and going. I'm like, Karina, all right. I used to make her mad on purpose so she can kick me out. So I won a championship in park ball and 10-0. Junior high championship in football and basketball. High school, only team that won the indoor and outdoor state track. College basketball championship. Lane. NFL Super Bowl. Only thing I'm missing is being a champion as a coach. That's the only thing I'm missing. I done hit every mark. The SIAC is so deep, and we're talking about every sport. So for me to get this opportunity, be right here, it's a humble moment, man.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap, and look who it is. Joining me is A.D. Drew. A.D., you did win. You did win. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. Atlanta traffic played hell on me today trying to get over here to where I am at in Atlanta for tonight. On my way to Media Day in Birmingham tomorrow to get ready for Tuesday. But I just want to go back to that first segment. You played that video of Jacoby Jones and his Hall of Fame induction video. I was with Jacoby the night before the SIAC Hall of Fame induction, the night before media night. There were about 20, 25 of us just hanging out the night before the induction ceremony. And I saw him play. First time I had a chance to actually meet him in person and to talk to him. And very down to earth, fun-loving guy. A lot of stories. Just talk cash, money, trash, if y'all know what I'm talking about. So, this one, especially when you are with someone hours, within a week before they pass away, that kind of hits home, man. How short life is. We always say, let's give people their roses and their flowers while they are still alive. We just made the deadline on this one, everybody.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is tough. And I thought, I agree 100% here. I'm going to Emmett Jones 100 here. I thought the SIAC did a phenomenal job. I did not see, honesty, Drew. I didn't even watch that. I saw the first 20 seconds and then I said, oh, I need to save this so that we could air it on the show. And I hadn't watched the whole thing. Watching it during the show there was the first time I'd watched that. And I agree 100% with you, Emmett. They did such an outstanding job of capturing that. Thank you, and job well done, SIAC, for doing that. That was good.
And let's also give a shout out to the SIAC. Not only was Jacoby's done at that high of a level, but all 7 of the nominees' videos were done at that high of a level, and also the team, the videos that they played for each team as they introduced the predicted order of finish and all the other presentations that they have done in SIAC. And this is not the first year that they've done something of that quality at the SIAC. This is probably the first time we actually paid attention because this tragic event happened so close to that video being released. But they have been doing it like that for a few years there in the SIAC. So I don't know if it's internal or external how they are producing these videos, but shout out to the SIAC. You know, I thought I would be coming on here talking trash, talking about Tuskegee had 2 people elected to the SIAC Hall of Fame that were inducted on Tuesday, but obviously that story kind of trumps my story. So
Yeah. And I love the fact that that video kind of captured not only Jacoby's time at Lane, his time in the NFL, also his run on Dancing with the Stars, which I had forgotten about until I had forgotten about that. I don't know how far they went. Didn't they go pretty far? Did he win? I don't know if he won it, but didn't he go pretty far in that?
I don't remember, Ryan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not remember.
I didn't know whether it may have come
There's
up.
a dance. There's got to be a Dancer with the Stars fan in the chat. Let us, if you remember that season, let us know.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So anyway, I told people there was so much news that happened between Friday and now. You know, the 72 hours. And again, here we are thinking we're just going to kind of talk about the recap of the SIAC and then also getting into the story of getting ready for the SWAC and the CIAA. But no, not so fast. You had all kinds of stuff happening over the weekend. I'm gonna stick to the sports because there's even, we've got baseball, political, college administration stories all happening. But I think if the sad passing of Jacoby Jones, then I think the other story is the news that came out about Talladega College Gymnastics program that appears to be, I don't know. I mean, the word came out that I want to make sure I say it appropriately. Give me a second. I'm having some. I don't know how I'm coming through on that end, Drew, because I feel like I'm having a few computer issues. So if I'm lagging or anything, please let me know. And you guys in the chat, let me know. I'm not in my home studio. I'm working off Wi-Fi, so that's always dangerous. And I know Drew is. And I think our guest is in the studio as well. So I'm going to bring her in just a second. But I just want to find this. I want to pull this story up here appropriately on Talladega because it's kind of definitely, I would say, was the up until this morning. I think that was kind of the story heading into the weekend that was the most like, what? So this came out Friday afternoon, and I'm reading right here from WBRC, Talladega, Alabama. The gymnastics program at Talladega College will be gone at the end of July. In a news conference, the college said the decision came after extensive deliberation and consideration of the current financial health of the institution. Talladega announced in February 2023 they would be starting a gymnastics program with Asia Sims Fletcher as the head coach. A quote from interim president Dr. Walter M. Kimbrough, and don't let that pass you by for a second, okay? Because this is not the president that brought in the gymnastics program. The quote from Dr. Kimbrough: "While the decision to discontinue the gymnastics program was undoubtedly difficult, we remain incredibly proud of our gymnastics, or incredibly proud of our gymnasts, coaches, and their remarkable achievements. Their dedication and resilience have set a high standard, and their legacy will continue to inspire." The gymnastics team was the second HBCU gymnastics program, following behind Fisk, which has started their program a year before. Yes, he was the interim president. Now
He is. He
is correct. Kimbrough is the interim president, and so I say that because it was under the former president. I'm presuming, Drew, and correct me if I'm wrong, that program was brought into or to Talladega. Yes.
That is correct. And I have to go back. I'm not sure that the person who held the position prior to Kimbrough was actually the full-time president. He or she may have been interim also. And I know Talladega currently does not have an athletic director either.
Let me bring in our guest, because this is a loaded. I mean, it's a loaded. Before we get into what the gymnasts are trying to do to stave, I hate to say stave off elimination, but stave off being their program being disbanded. Let me bring in our guest,
especially at this late date.
Oh yeah, definitely at this late date. Let me bring in our guest, joining us live, also probably in the A. It's Keisha Kelly, Black College Experience, joining us. Keisha, are you there?
I am.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Hey, we're blessed. We're in your hometown, right? We in your city. we should have figured out a way how to do this live. You know what I'm saying? We should have done a little bit better planning on this, but that's on us though.
And we're probably on 3 different sides of Atlanta, and it'd probably take us, if we decided to go meet now, it'd probably still take us an hour just to hook up with each other in this city.
Right.
Well, Keisha, a lot going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm kind of bringing you in sort of in the middle of one story, but I wanted to give you a chance to kind of reflect and react to the news on the passing of Jacoby Jones, and then we'll kind of, before we get into talking about football, kind of also talk about that story out of Talladega as well.
So, it's still surreal with the whole Jacoby Jones situation, because we were literally Wednesday, just at the Hall of Fame induction. And, just sitting there, we were all at the table. We were joking and we were talking about him. And, to see him go in and to see him be inducted, this guy literally had a birthday, July 11th. We are July 14th, you pass in your sleep. So he had just made 40. And I mean, it just does not seem real, because we literally just saw him Wednesday. And so now you're talking about somebody that passed.
We got you now, Keisha.
Sorry, somebody was. Y'all know how that go. People start calling and doing stuff, but like I said, it hadn't hit me yet. It just really hasn't. When I saw it come across the thing, I was like, "Wait, Jacoby Jones? Didn't we just see him?" Mm-hmm. And I don't. Just, it's one of those where you really just don't believe something, and I'm still at that point where I really still don't believe it.
Right. From the tragic news of that story to the sad news in Talladega, obviously that news comes out on Friday that Talladega is going to eliminate their gymnastics program after just 1 year. But I'm reading a story coming from HBCU Sports today that the gymnast have begun a crowdfunding effort through GoFundMe.
So
And
We
we
lost at that time.
Yeah. Edwin, you can't blame my Wi-Fi for that. How you gonna blame my Wi-Fi? You just told me my sister's Wi-Fi was better than mine. But so I'm sure here he is. Keisha's coming back right now. We'll give it a second here. Let's see. We got Keisha. Keisha, we got you.
Okay, I was like, wait, what happened?
Right, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. There you go. Put it on Do Not Disturb, and then
Me?
that way, yeah. If you're on your
No, nobody called that time. I don't know why I dropped that time. It just went away. I don't know what happened that time.
All right, it's all good. Okay, you were in the middle of a thought regarding
So I was saying the ISLA Foundation. So people would have to follow. So I know it's easy to kind of read the articles and kind of go with it, but for me it's different because I work with all of them. So I work with the Brown Girls Do Gymnastics. I work with ISLA. I've worked with FIST. I was there. Talladega recruited their first recruit, which was Kirsten Johnson. I've interviewed, so it's different when you read articles. You know, not everybody's getting actually see it. You actually worked with it. So to see a program, you know, after one season, y'all, it's really bigger than this gymnastics program. And this is from some of their alumni talking about other things that's going on at the university. So it's a lot more going on than people know. But to see something like that, and so many people ask, why didn't they start, you know, why didn't they start the GoFundMe? Why didn't they start asking for donations before? Well, they had just found out that they were going to dismantle the program. So they got to the end of the month. And I mean, you know, I've been talking to all of them today, yesterday. It's like trying to get the word out. And I think if they're not at $10,000, they might be close to or over $10,000. Last I checked, they were at 9 something. But you know, it's an uphill battle. But I would hate to see the program go. I mean, especially when you produced it. You know, you produced a vault champion. You produced a champion. It's a great program, but it's tough. And we know that gymnastics is expensive. We also know that it's a non-revenue generating sport. So, you know.
So let me follow up with a couple questions, and I will admit I feel like I'm uncovering. I'm glad we have you on. This is great timing because I did not know of your involvement to the level that it is. But coming into the start of this program, was there? I mean, very much similar to how I think what we've heard of other programs that have started with a sort of a base funds through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking golf, for example. I think what Howard,
right.
You know, Howard Golf kind of started with a nest egg of funds. Did this program, you mentioned the and forgive me if I messed the name up, Brown Girls Gymnastics? Is that?
Yeah, Brown Girl Gymnastics.
Was there a fund or was there money that, I mean, obviously, you know, it's not a generating revenue generating sport. Right. Was there a nest of funds initially given to the program so that maybe it could survive in its first 2-3 years, and then as it build up some momentum, maybe it could build up more funds through fundraising and donations?
So from my understanding, and this is just from the press release, from what Brown Girls Gymnastics sent me, you know, sent through email, they were in the process of securing sponsors. So I don't know if it should have been done before, but I'm in my mind, obviously the resources just weren't there. And when you think about, like I said, the ISLA Foundation, you know, it's a group of different people. When you think about all the people that's surrounded by, you know, gymnastics, you know, you still have FIST that was a year ago. Then you have, you know, Talladega that comes out. And then in 2026, we're looking at Wilberforce that's going to launch gymnastics. And so now you starting to say, okay, is this really is this what you want to do? Because if you see a program at this point, this happens, you don't want to see Wilberforce get in the same situation. We don't want to see them get in the same situation. And it's kind of hard because when you look at Talladega, we have to remember football is what always brings in the money. No matter where you at, football is what brings in the money. So they don't have a football team. So you don't have money generated off football that can help you sustain.
Can I jump in here for a minute?
No.
For sure.
I'll see you on Tuesday. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, get hazed up on your own show. I love it. Go ahead.
Oh man, dang. You ain't have to pull out the belt on me, Keisha.
I'm
God,
sorry.
dog, that would hurt.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Talladega, and I hate to say this, has problems, and I think you just mentioned this, Keisha.
Right.
They have problems beyond this gymnastics program.
Correct.
Bryan and Keisha. And I'm aware of them, but this is not the platform or my place to put out some of their business. But it's tough at Talladega right now.
Right.
I need everybody to go into their Wayback Machine, 2 years ago? Remember, Talladega was supposed to be joining the SIAC, beginning their transition to the SIAC, which we also say in sidebar, congratulations to Edward Waters and Allen for completing their transition to Division II. But Talladega did not make that transition to the SIAC. The GCAC at that time was supposed to be a temporary holding place when, let's back it up. They were supposed to lead the Southern States Conference of the NAIA and then begin the transition to Division II and the SIAC 2 years ago. Things were not in place like they should have been due to issues at the university. So the GCAC was supposed to be a temporary holding place while they cleaned up their act and then began the transition. There's a reason why we have not heard any further conversation of Talladega making the jump from the NAIA to Division II. Go Google it, y'all. I'm not gonna tell you what the issues are, but there are issues there.
Yeah, well, and talking to some alumni, nobody can tell you more than the university, right? Even from I guess last night's conversation, there was she was talking about it, and then she started posting articles of different stuff that was going on, and finding, like you said, financially, it's just not a good place right now for them. So again, it's bigger than this gymnastics, and it's like it's trickling down to every now.
Yeah. No, number two, having worked at an NAIA institution that has athletics, NAIA approach athletics different than a lot of your NCAA schools. No, the main reason a lot of these NAIA schools have athletics is to get students to come to their school.
Correct.
So that they can get, I'll be real, so they can get their tuition money and their financial aid. That's how a lot of these NAIA institutions keep their doors open. Think about how many schools that we have seen close their doors since the pandemic. A lot of these are private institutions on the D3 and the NAIA level. Why those two levels? Because those institutions rely on students, primarily students on campus, to survive. And with the pandemic forcing people to go online to complete their education, they had to come up with a model to get the money from the online students. But an online student does not generate as much money for an institution as
Correct.
a brick and mortar student.
Correct.
And some of these schools are starting to find out starting to come to the point where the rubber hits the road and realizing they cannot financially survive doing things the way they have been doing with the programs that they have been offering, from the professors to the student services to the athletics, whole gamut of things. So like I say, there are a bunch of things that have now converged, and just like at FAMU with Coach Carreri, these students are caught in the middle of everything that's going on surrounding them. They are innocent bystanders. I am sorry and appalled that this is happening to them. When we wake up tomorrow, it will be July 15th. How many of these young ladies, if they decide not to tough it out, or if everything goes left, continues to go left at Talladega, they're not able to get these funds, how many of them are going to be able to get somewhere where they can compete this season? And for a gymnast, not to be able to compete, is huge for them to have to sit a year out. Probably as bigger in that sport than any other sport that's offered in college.
And they won't. You know, you're talking about they had in addition to, I want to say Talladega had recruited, I want to say 20, maybe 20 additional people. It was 10 or 20 from my understanding. And you're right at the beginning, like the season, like right now is when they're about to start. So they don't have time to find a home. And so, you know, it's disheartening again, because you don't have time to find a home. I'm sure, you know, most of it is filled at Fisk. So now you have to look for outside things. And now you have to stop doing the one thing that you love to do, the one thing that got you into college, the one thing you went to college for. And now it's just, it's tough, because the next question becomes, well, if you raise the money, then how do you keep sustaining the programs? How do you keep the funding going without thinking it's going to be canceled like next year or the year after? It's hard.
Now, back up, Keisha. There's another question that you need to ask about that money. How do you know that money will not get sucked into the vacuum that we call general fund?
Let me read from the article, because there's a couple of interesting quotes that I'm finding here in this article, again from HBCU Sports. Chris Stevens wrote this. This came out just today, matter of fact. From the article, this is a portion of the statement on the GoFundMe page. With 1 hour to prepare, the Talladega team was told that the announcement would go public and that their team would be no more. Tears in their eyes and sadness in their hearts, they congratulated each other on their accomplishments given the short time that they had. 24 hours later, they decided they weren't taking no for an answer. The gymnasts are looking to raise $500,000 to save the program. Now, as of Sunday, now I'm assuming this is as of, I didn't hear you. Say again, Keisha.
499 4 hours. I said 48. These are things you really follow. It was more than 24 hours.
I'm looking at it live right now. They're just under 10,000. Yeah, 499,998. I don't know why it's less than 500,000, but
maybe they just want to put 5,000 on there. I don't know.
But
why are things $9.99 instead of?
Yeah, so far they have raised $9,579 as of this show right now. As of this time right now. And it says, Save Our Program, Dega Strong by the Isla Foundation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they have until July 30th to show that the community wants to keep this program alive. Now, you got to imagine. I got to imagine if they can catch somewhere. I lost Drew in this. Everybody's we're all having Wi-Fi fun tonight. But you got to imagine, Keisha, that somebody in the next 2 weeks is going to catch hold of this story. And I think all they have to do is really get the right person or right media person or the right news channel to pick up this story, national story. And this thing could pop off and they could catch their money. But I think we've all talked about the bigger question is, how do you maintain it? You know, how do you maintain it? And then what has Fisk done to make it to a year through a year two, and what are they doing to continue forward? I think there's an interesting study,
Right.
or some interesting questions that somebody in our world of journalism is going to ask and going to report that I'm certainly curious about now.
Yeah. And the thing that I really, because I live by all sports matter. And so I really just hate that gymnastics has to get the attention that it deserves when it goes into a dismantling situation, or it goes into a situation where something bad is happening, because this sport deserves just as much attention as any other sport, but it does not get the notoriety that it deserves. And you're talking about champions, you're talking about first times, you're talking about national news, and it just doesn't. But now it's a hot topic because, the program's gone away. Well, it's not something, people will follow all the time, but, they have to raise it. They got to keep the financials flowing. And I mean, and we know it's a difficult task, but it's not even the raising the money. It's now you automatically got to go into sponsorships. Like you really got to go into sponsorships from this point. You got to hit it straight sponsor. Like you need heavy sponsors now, because sustaining it is going to be very shaky. And that's what people are going to be scared to donate to it if they don't know how they're going to sustain it.
Correct. Yep, indeed.
Look at Drew. He didn't pop back in.
I'm gonna go back and watch the replay and we'll see how you was talking about me.
I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, and I guess what also should bring and maybe give a lot of schools some pause is think about sports that are trying to get going here.
I got one for you.
Hockey, Tennessee State's hockey program, Morgan State's wrestling program. I'm just thinking of programs that have all either started or are starting in the next year to 2 years.
How about SIAC men's volleyball? That original money that they got, that
Morehouse.
three-year grant that they got has expired.
Has it been 3 years already?
Yes, it has. It just expired. It just expired this year. So they will not be. They will not have funds from.
Are
that
they not
grant.
applying for another probably
It's probably was a one-time gift.
Oh,
so
God.
now the university is on their own, and I know there's at least one program that is supposed to be coming in this spring, that being Lemoyne Owen. So it makes you pause and want to think. Another private institution.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha, do you know, and I saw somebody ask this in the chat, and I didn't, I don't know if I saved it, but were any of these young ladies on scholarship, or what do you know about their, were they on academic scholarships? Were there any athletic scholarships created or set up for the gymnastics program?
Now that I don't know.
Okay.
And scholarship at the NAIA level, especially a private institution like a Talladega, is just like having a coupon when you go to Walmart. You're going to pay. You're just not going to pay full price. They may give you $5,000 off your tuition, for example. That's what a scholarship means at a place like a Talladega.
All right. Good info by Doc. I had a feeling, I was hoping that it would be put into an endowment where they could sort of, but again,
that should have been done first. Say it, Brian.
Thank you. I was trying to find a way to say that, Drew. I was like, damn it, why wasn't that done in the first place? But anyway.
And that's what I said. Now you have to, I don't know why sponsorships, and it's almost like it was like you don't want to say a trial period, But now it's like, now you got to play catch up. Now you really got to figure it out. And that's tough. Because now it's like you playing from behind. Now you got to figure it out. And $500,000 may not sound like a lot of money, but that's a lot when you're trying to fundraise it.
Yeah.
You try to do dish for dinner. You don't try nothing when it comes to people's education. When it comes to these people, these children's livelihood.
Correct. And it's like, and it's just like Bryan said, and it's like I always say, you know, at the peak of it, it's always about the student athlete. And in the crossfire, the only person that gets is the student athlete. That's because they're in the middle. They in there just do what they love, and then in the business and all the things in between. And it's not fair. It's not fair.
Keisha, can you stick in with us for one more segment? I wanna make sure we do a little football. You were at SIAC Football Media Day. Kind of recap that, and then also maybe take a sneak peek into SWAC Football Media Day coming up. You got time to hang with us for a little bit more?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's step away for a quick second, a short break. Come back right after these words. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We will be back in just a couple of minutes as soon as I can find the commercials. We'll be back right after these words. Promise. We will. Promise. Good Lord. I tell you, the computer is just it's a mess right now. It's, you know, I'm blaming my sister's Wi-Fi. I don't know how good. Y'all swear it's good, but okay. All right. Here we go.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan, A.D., Keisha Kelly of Black College Experience joining us. I tell you, Drew, I don't know how does my signal look on your end? Because I swear I'm just having a wicked time.
Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you.
You can't tell because you.
I really can't because I don't know if it's yours or mine because I'm having issues on my end. So I think we all just. The internet is just messing with us since we all decided to be in Atlanta today. I think that's what it is. It's a conspiracy.
The audio is coming through good. So, you know, I don't know. You guys in the chat room, you keep us up to date. Let us know how things are sounding, how things are looking. You guys, I have no idea what you guys are chatting about in the chat room, but it's quite interesting. I'm, 1 minute we're in the, I have no idea what we're talking about in the chat room. It's hard to keep up. Meredith said Atlanta Wi-Fi is as bad as Atlanta traffic. That's the line of the night.
Congested. That's what it is.
Edwin swears by the Wi-Fi. He says that my sister's Wi-Fi is outdoing mine. I don't know. Edwin, that's interesting.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Is this the point in the show where we think Keisha just go ahead and get out her FAMU jokes so we can go ahead and get them out the way?
No FAMU slander or jokes. You can have at it on Tuesday, Keisha. You can drop 237 jokes, however many you got in the bag, Keisha. You can drop them all on Thursday.
I don't have any jokes. Now listen, on Wednesday now, I gotta say I'm gonna be all Norfolk though. I'm all Norfolk.
What?
Boo.
What?
Oh no,
You do not
Odoms.
get
Dawson
a
Odoms,
place
I forgot.
at the cookout.
Dawson Odoms.
Yes, exactly. You get it. Dawson Odoms. That's it. That's all. That's forever my coach. That's forever my coach.
Make sure everybody gets in line before Keisha at the next cookout. That's all I'm gonna say. If there's anything left, she can have it. But if it's cookouts that I go to, you're gonna be out of luck, my sister.
I got you.
All right. Keisha and Drew, both of you were in Atlanta at the at the College Football Hall of Fame for SWAC, I can't even get them right now. The SIAC Media Day. Albany State and Fort Valley State predicted 1 and 2, followed up by Miles, Tuskegee, then Benedict at 5. That's the top 5. Keisha, I know you don't have a vote, or at least I don't believe you have a vote. Do you agree, disagree? What do you agree or disagree with in terms of the voting for the predicted order of finish for this upcoming year?
I'm gonna say that, pretty much it sounds about right. If you looked at last season, which is how pretty much everybody does everything. Now, how Benedict went to 5, that's a little, and I guess, it's so many people that left, including coach. So, falling at 5 was kind of a surprise to me. Albany State, Fort Valley, that wasn't a surprise. Where Tuskegee, I'm going to tell you who I think is really going to finish higher than what people think. I think Clark Atlanta is going to finish higher than what people think.
Higher than 10th. They are predicted order in 10th. I agree with you on that. I
don't think they're going to finish, not with Coach Keaton. It's not going to be number 10. I would love to see Lane finish higher. I think they were 12, higher than 12.
12 or 13. 12 or 13.
Yeah, they're no, Morehouse is 13. I know Morehouse is 13. I know who last. I know who fell last. So I do believe that top 5. Yeah, the top 5. And I think Drew said that himself. It's bad, but I do think that top 5, it really wasn't a surprise, but it was kind of, with Benedict, I'm like, wow, okay. But, you talk about somebody that's been undefeated since 2021. How are you going to hold on to that? Because now that's going to be an uphill battle.
AD, I don't recall if we talked on Thursday or not. The days are all a blur now. So give me your recap. You may have recapped live at the SIAC Football Media Day after the live broadcast you guys did, but give me your analysis and your thoughts on the predicted order of finish.
Not only live at the SIAC, but if you go back to Thursday's Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Kendra Hooks and I really broke down the SIAC Media Day for 2 segments on that show on Thursday. So that's where you get a lot of my thoughts from. But here's the problem, Brian. Yes, we all think Clark Atlanta is going to finish higher than 10. But like Dr. Cavill says, if you move Clark Atlanta up, who you moving down? That's the problem with the SIAC. There's so much uncertainty and parity in the SIAC this year. It is hard to really look at these teams. You know, you got a team like Central State who quietly finished 4-4 last year. Who were the four that they lost to? Tuskegee, Miles, I believe Benedict and Albany State. Where are those teams expected to finish? Top 4. So I think we brought it up last week. 4-4, which is the median, gets you in 8th place in this conference. So will we see another year where the top is really good and the bottom is really bad? Or will these teams come closer together? I will say this. I don't think anybody's going undefeated this year, not in conference play. Schedule is too tough.
I feel like you say that. I feel like you say that every media day. I feel like you've been saying that for and you usually most of the time you're right. So I'm not picking. I'm sort of picking on you, but I'm not really.
Actually, last year I was not surprised FAMU went undefeated. Although I did have them losing the Southern last year when it came to the SWAC. But and of course Keisha's gone when I say that, you know.
She's trying to connect in right now.
How ironic is that? But
let me go back to
I really don't think because number one, you're walking around the SIAC with everyone with a "Hello, my name is" tag on their chest. When it comes to the quarterbacks in this conference, when it comes to the coaches in this conference, is that good or is that bad? I guess we'll find out. Beginning less than 50 days.
Let me go to Clark's schedule because hold on, I'm gonna give Keisha a second. Her signal's still trying to come in there, so I'm gonna wait till I see it actually kick in. Clark's schedule. Looking at, hold on, maybe I got her now. Let's see. Keisha, do we have you? She's trying to connect in. Okay, here's Clark's schedule. They open the season against Fort Valley State, at Fort Valley State.
That's a way to get started.
Okay, but then they really, in terms of against the top, and I think let's look at it from the top. I don't know if we want to say the top 4 or the top 5. Who was the number 5 again? Benedict?
Benedict.
All right, so I'm going to go back to the top 4. I'm going to use the top 4 because I'm not 100% sold on Benedict. But I will say even among they play Fort Valley, Miles, and Tuskegee. They don't play Edward Waters. They don't play Benedict. So when you ask the question that Dr. Cavill asked about who are they moving up on, well, they could theoretically finish 5-3. And if they beat one of those 3 teams, Miles, Fort Valley, or Tuskegee, they're possibly looking at 6-2. Okay? Now, sure, you could say, oh, but Bryan, they could stumble because they play Allen. They play Lane, Savannah State, Central State, Morehouse. I mean, if they could stumble to one of those teams, right? But I'm not, for some reason, I'm not betting on it. Okay. So yeah, I think, Drew, that to me gives them a potential to move up on a couple of people. Any other scheduling things that you looked at, that you've had time to look at, that caught your eye? And you and Kendrick may have talked about this on Thursday.
Stay on that Clark schedule. Give me
Okay.
their last 3 games.
Last 3 games for Clark. Last 3, you have homecoming game against Miles. You have a bye week a home game against Tuskegee, and then you go across the AU to Morehouse. So essentially, the last 3 games are all home, quote unquote home, Atlanta home.
Home crowd.
Home atmosphere, home city, sleep in your bed, home.
The reason I bring up those last 3 games, Brian, that's when I expect Clark Atlanta to potentially hit their stride. They're not going to come out the gate strong against Fort Valley. You just can't do it. When you blend in the new coach, quarterback, the returning players, the players who came in from Allen, the other transfers, it's going to take them a few games to get everything going. I think by the time they get to that Miles Tuskegee stretch, they may be in a position where they control their own destiny. And if you're a Central State, that's what you want. We're not asking you to be the Central State of Billy Joe. We're not asking you to be the Central State of Rick Comagene. We're just asking you to be the Central State of Kevin Porter.
Nobody, I think, among the top 4 teams, as I'm looking here, nobody play. And you talk about among the top 4 teams having to play 3 opponents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Albany State, for example. Albany State, they travel to Miles and they play Fort Valley State, neutral site. Okay. That's Albany State. Fort Valley, as we mentioned, we have the Clark game, but among the top 4 teams, they play really only Albany State. There's a Benedict game, so if you want to include the top 5, they play Benedict. So they play, Fort Valley plays Albany at the end of the year, but they don't have, now again, at Edward Waters against Clark, if you wanted to say who are teams that are kind of the middle of the road teams. And then who was the other one? Miles and Tuskegee. Miles plays Albany State, Benedict, Tuskegee. So they've got 3 of the 4 top 5 teams. And then Tuskegee has Miles. That's it. So when we were talking about strength of schedule and who has the best road, it's Tuskegee.
Yeah. And I want you to look at one who's also got a tough schedule, and if they win it, they have earned it. Look who Edward Waters plays.
Oh, I think we already talked about how brutal Edward Waters' schedule is. Did we not?
They've got Fort Valley, Albany State, and Tuskegee on their schedule this year.
They've got, in a 3-week stretch, Benedict, Tuskegee, Fort Valley. Now, Tuskegee and Fort Valley at home, that's a benefit to them. And then they do have to travel to Albany State. So Edward Waters plays 4 of the top 5. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. That's probably the team.
But don't they get 3 of them at home though, Brian?
They get Tuskegee at home. They get Fort Valley at home.
Don't they get Benedict at home?
Is Benedict at home? Did I say it? No, Benedict's on the road and Albany State's on the road.
Okay.
So, yeah. In terms of individual players, again, and I know Keisha was trying to get connected with us, but we're just having some technical difficulties. So if you're watching, Keisha, and you can jump back in, please do. Just in case you hadn't heard the preseason offensive player of the year, Kylan. Is it Doohy or Do? Drew. I thought you might have caught it at the media day. You didn't catch it, huh? Okay. Kylan is a running back from Lane, a redshirt senior from Edgar, Louisiana. The preseason defensive player of the year was Michael King, defensive back from Tuskegee. He's a junior right there from Tuskegee.
Yeah.
And I think it was interestingly noted. I know I said it on Thursday. No, I wasn't on the show Thursday. I came on Wednesday. Did we do the show? Tuesday, yeah. Because this was released Tuesday. That's what it was. It was released Tuesday. So we sort of reacted to this on Tuesday on Dr. Cavill's show. But yeah, the defending offensive player of the year, right? David Wright, quarterback, formerly of Allen, is now at Clark Atlanta. He's good enough to be first team SIAC, but he is not preseason offensive player of the year. And then the second team quarterback, or no, who is it? The young man who was the preseason offensive player from a year ago, who is still at Albany State.
Fort Valley.
I'm sorry?
Fort Valley. He said
Fort Valley. That's Kelvin Durham, right?
Yes.
Kelvin Durham, still at Fort Valley State. He wasn't first or second team. So I have no, I don't understand it, but okay. All I know is this great bulletin board material that we've given folks. All right. Can we any final notes on the SIAC, or can we transition forward?
Let's move forward.
SWAC Media Day comes up Tuesday. Of course, live coverage right here on the Black College Sports Network beginning sometime 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central. Live from Birmingham, live from I believe it's the Sheraton Hotel, yes, which is where they will be. So if you're in the area, you could probably hang out in the lobby of the Sheraton. I don't know if you can necessarily get back to where all the media day festivities are, but if you just wanted to come bump around the hotel, you could do that, I'm sure. But I think, Drew, we were talking about coaches offline as we were both driving in. We have one coach in this conference who not only is he the most tenured coach, in fact, he's the only coach who was at his school pre-pandemic. And he's the only one, I believe, that has previous head coaching experience prior to his current school. And that's Connell Maynard. Did we come to an agreement that is in fact the case?
I believe so. Connell Maynard, obviously being head coach at Winston-Salem State. And was he head at Hampton, or was he coordinator at Hampton?
He was a head coach at Hampton, I believe. Okay. He was right before they decided to jump out of the MEAC, I believe.
Yes. So, yeah, he would be the only one that I can think of who has been a full-time head coach. Of course, you've got Coach Graves at Southern, who has had 2 interim stints, one at Southern and one at Grambling. Mm-hmm. But other than that,
yeah, going through the list of coaches, and actually, I can kind of pull up this graphic because the SWAC did release. Well, those are the players. I thought that might have included. Those are the player attendees that'll be there. But I thought it had the coaches on it. But I'm looking at the website right now that's got the coaches. Eddie Robinson Jr., first. This will be his third season.
Yeah. Good.
And his third overall. Cedric Thomas. That's the name. Cedric Thomas. Was Cedric Thomas previously a head coach? Or he was just a defensive coordinator? I think this, look that up. See if you can do a quick Google search while I go through this. Raymond Woody. We know this is his first head coaching job. He's the first-year head coach at Bethune-Cookman. James Colsey, first-year head coach at Florida A&M. First year as an American U.S. college coach. He did have a stint as a head coach in Canada. Mickey Joseph. I think now Edwin says Cedric Thomas. Okay. Cedric Thomas was just a defensive coordinator at Alcorn and Grambling.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, he's correct.
What? Only the defensive coordinator?
Correct.
No previous head coach experience.
No.
Okay.
No previous head coach experience.
Mickey Joseph.
Not on the collegiate level. He has been a junior college head coach.
Yeah, Raymond Woody. Okay, again going into his second year. Colsey first year. Mickey Joseph at Grambling. First year at Grambling, but I believe he had an interim stint at, was it Nebraska?
Yes.
Okay, so he had interim coaching experience, real similar to you coach over at Southern, Terrence Graves, but this is his first
full time.
Okay. Okay, so Edwin Moore says Cedric Thornton was the head coach at UAPB. Was it Cedric Thomas or Cedric Thornton, Edwin? You got me all confused now because I'm looking at the website. How is it I don't know this, Drew? I'm looking right here at the SWAC website. It says Cedric Thomas, head coach at Alcorn. All right. So, of course, T.C. Taylor, head coach, Jackson State, going into his second season. His first job as a head coach. Mississippi Valley State, Kendrick Wade. Okay, so Doc confirms that he previously was at UAPB. So Cedric Thomas was previously at UAPB. So we got two coaches, Drew, who have previous head coaching experience in America. In America. Okay, in America. I'm just saying. I'm not discounting Colsey's tenure in Canada, but I'm just in America. But if you want to include, just previously head coaching experience, and we can include it right there with the interim coaches. Okay. Bubba McDowell, second year at Prairie View or third year? I think it's third.
I believe it's third year.
Third year at Prairie View. First still his first head coaching job. I already mentioned Kendrick Wade at Mississippi Valley State. Of course, Chris Dishman, first head coaching year, first at Southern. And then Alonzo Hampton, first UAPB's head coach, second season at UAPB, first school. So lots of new.
So we've got more former NFL players in our conference than we do former head coaches.
We have what now?
More former NFL players in this conference than we do I hate to use the word retread, but rehired head coaches.
You could say that as coaches with previous head coaching experience.
Previous coaches head coaching experience.
Previous head coaching experience. There you go.
Yeah.
But
what does that say about the conference?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Who do we have as more? Who else? I mean, wait a minute. Bubba McDowell, Chris Dishman,
Eddie
Robinson. No. We've got more previous head coaching experience guys. We got Connell Maynard, Cedric Thomas, James Colsey.
I thought we weren't counting Colsey, Joseph,
We might as well. Hell, we might as well. We might as well, Drew. I don't.
No,
hell,
let's not count the. Let's not count. I thought we weren't counting the interim.
I wasn't either, but the people in the chat seem they want to count it. They want to count it. I don't know.
I'm not counting it. Y'all do what y'all want to in that chat. Y'all do it any doggone way.
All right. So the number is 3-2. So what you're saying is it's 3-2, right?
But what does that really say? What does that say about the conference? Is this the conference of opportunity now? Because 10 of our 12 head coaches are on their first head coaching job?
Sure.
And when you look at the age of a lot of these coaches,
that I think
they're all
that's a bigger
young.
story. I think that's a bigger story. All under, probably mostly under 55.
Yeah.
All right. As we get ready to go into the media day, predicted order of finish, all that stuff will come out. All Americans, preseason offensive, all that stuff. Care to give it? You and I don't have a vote. Care to make any predictions on who might be offensive and defensive preseason players of the year?
I have not given this any thought, but the running back at Jackson State, I can't think of his name right now.
Mulligan.
Mulligan is probably going to get offensive. Defensive. I don't know what to tell you on defense right now. Just without having done my prior research. If I'd have known you was going to ask me that question, I would have had an answer for you, Bryan.
No wild guesses. I'm gonna give you a name. I think I'm it's gonna sound like a homer, but how about Kendall Bowler? I mean, I'm going with All-American returning, All-Americans that are returning on the defensive end. Edwin Moore says Mulligan over Texas Southern's running back. Didn't he leave? Didn't he graduate? I thought Texas Southern's running back, I thought he exhausted his eligibility. I thought he was gone.
Yeah.
And the name escapes me right at the moment.
Yeah. What's going to be interesting, Bryan? Because there were so many players who transferred within the conference. Will any of those players be on either the first or the second team? That's what I want to see.
If not Irv Mulligan, I think Andrew Body may garner some votes and get some attention. Is that the kind of transfer that would fit your category, your criteria?
Yeah, he transferred within conference. That's what I'm saying. I wanted with players like Andrew Body get any consideration for first or second team. Having a pedigree in the SWAC, but with a due team.
I was just looking at the awards from last year in terms of who were some of the players that were selected to the SWAC. To the SWAC postseason honors, and I'm trying to see if there's any names from the first team defense that might
stick out.
Because some of the names from last year are all gone. Like I said, the one returner that comes, I see a Kendall Bowler, All-American that is coming back. But some of the names from last year's first team defense, Anthony Dunn Jr., he's gone. Sundiata Anderson gone. Major gone. Isaiah Major, Colton Adams gone. Eric Smith gone. I don't know. Malachi Bailey from Alcorn State. Is he still there?
I guess we'll find out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, Brian. We don't know who's on these rosters.
Well, some of these names we do know. They're out there. I mean, most of these schools have already because summer session has already started. So a lot of these programs have put names up. In terms of,
but there are also a lot of names who will not appear on the roster until late August because there are a lot of players who still aren't on campus yet.
Yeah, Ladarius Owens is former Texas. I think he's gone. He's gone. Jarvion Howard of Alcorn State. I think he's gone as well. So those were two of the offensive guys. Edwin Moore says Bailey is still there. Malachi Bailey of Alcorn State. So there's a name that, first team defensive lineman. He will be in the running. And again, I told you Kendall Bowler will also be around. Jordan Carter, defensive back of Southern.
Brian, whoever the two people are, they're going to be on that list that you put up earlier of the invited players.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at Drew coming off. Let's look at the list then, Drew. I don't know if it'll pull up fast enough for me. So if we look at this list then, Drew, since you want to go this route and make your predictions based off of that, who do we see there? Well, I see a Kendall Bowler. I see a Malachi Bailey in terms of defensive guys. Would be interesting to see a running back like an Irv Mulligan get preseason over a quarterback, Andrew Body.
Didn't we have this debate last year?
Quarterback versus running back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the football scouts, the football people, the people who, the quote unquote football people, they will swear by running backs or swear by quarterback or running back. Excuse me. They would swear by the running back. I would go with Irv Mulligan, to be honest. I mean, I think it'll be close though. I don't know if the SWAC ever publishes the votes, but I put it like this. I think it should probably go to Irv Mulligan, but I of course will not be surprised if it's Andrew Body.
Well, Chandler Whitfield gets some votes.
Chandler Whitfield.
Southern wide receiver.
No, there's no way a wide receiver's getting it. And I say that because he wasn't let me double check before I open my mouth here. Let me see. I don't see him on second team, and I don't see him on first team. He wasn't a first team or second team wide receiver last year. No.
Kelvin Dean.
You know what? That's a name that, again, running back. So SWAC, Celebration Bowl MVP.
And it's hard, Brian, not to cut you off. It's hard to give it to a quarterback in the SWAC when there are no returning quarterbacks in the SWAC.
There is a returning quarterback. What do you mean there's no returning quarterback?
But you know what I mean. It's not like in previous years where you've had half the teams have a quarterback that's returning.
Yes, I know.
This may be the year that you see a running back or a receiver or even a tight end wind up with Offensive Player of the Year.
No way you're going to see a tight end.
I'm just throwing it out there because you do not have a big name quarterback in this conference this year.
I disagree that you don't have a big name quarterback. You just
Brian,
if
out of these 12 teams, I don't think combined these quarterbacks have thrown for 2,000 yards in their careers. That's why I say this is the year that
you're gonna make me pull up. You're gonna make me do a quick search here for Andrew Body's career stats, huh?
Oh, okay. Exclude Andrew Body.
No,
right,
wait a minute. Why you just you can't exclude Andrew Body?
I forgot about Andrew Body, but everybody else.
That's why
let me rephrase it. Andrew Body has more career yards than the other 11 combined.
And for that reason is why I'm saying preseason offensive player of the year. It's funny you say that because Andrew Body, hell, he threw for it. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, Drew, he's got over 4,000.
Andrew Body has some yards. Andrew Body has some yards. Right.
Yeah.
But he's got more than the other 11 quarterbacks combined.
Yes, he does. And I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at the stats. We kind of forget a little bit of what Body did as a freshman, where he passed for over 2,000 yards.
The only time he was halfway healthy.
His sophomore year, I don't know, Drew. He had more pass attempts, more pass completions his sophomore year. Now he did throw for less by about 200 yards, but he had more touchdowns, 2 more touchdowns, 2 more INTs. Right. His rating was much better. His
and came within a quarter of leading Texas Southern to the SWAC championship game.
And don't forget, he rushed for over 500 yards in his first 2 seasons. Each of his first 2.
I guarantee you, he won't be running the ball like that at Alabama State.
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet. I bet
not with the plethora of running backs that they tend to have at Alabama State. There's no need for him to rush the ball like that.
Okay. Well,
he had to carry a lot of the offense at Texas Southern. One of the things he's probably going to do is they're going to try to if they keep Andrew Body upright, Alabama State will challenge for the East.
A Tiger doesn't change his stripes, Drew. The kid was a dual threat quarterback in high school, and he was a dual threat at Texas Southern. Sure, he got hurt being a dual threat, but that's the nature of dual threat quarterbacks, Drew. I'm just saying. I would, if I'm Eddie Robinson Jr., I am not asking. Sure, do I want to give Andrew Body more protection? Do I want to give him more options? Sure, but I'm not telling Andrew Body don't run. I'm just not. I'm not, because that's what makes him dynamic. Now, do you want to coach him up a little bit better and talk about how to slide, how to get out of bounds, how to protect yourself because we need you on the field? Sure, but I'm not asking him to change. No way. No way, no how. Not asking him to change.
Hey, Bryan, here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Will a champion come from the West?
And West Division champion? Is that what you're asking me?
Will the SWAC champion come out of the West? And I'm going to tell you why I'm asking that.
All right, I'm listening.
The last 6 seasons, the SWAC football champion has come out of the East. And 8 of the last 10.
You know, we have SWAC friends that'll say we're showing our East bias.
The numbers prove it, though. But the numbers prove it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a trend, they will say.
Outside of the 2 years Grambling made the Celebration Bowl, winning one and losing one, the champion has come out of the East for the last 10 years. Alcorn and people, how short our memories are, forgetting that Alcorn used to be in the East. Alcorn won 2, lost 2 to Grambling, and then won 2 again. Alabama A&M won it during the shortened season in 20. Jackson State won 2, and now Florida A&M.
That brings us. Let's sort of take a look at these schedules, and let's kind of look at for a second just the cross division matchups. I to answer your question, no, I do not think the SWAC champion will come out of the West.
Right.
I'm sorry,
but the West owns the all-time series 13-11.
Sure. Okay. Well, yeah. When it comes to the cross division opponent, it's Alabama State that has I believe it's Alabama State that has the toughest cross division opponents. They play Alcorn State, Grambling, and Prairie View. Okay. That's who Alabama State plays. Now, the easiest cross division schedule belongs to Jackson State. Jackson State, outside of playing Alcorn, Jackson has UAPB and Texas Southern. So, and I'm basing that off of records, overall records from a year ago. Okay. And just in case you wondered, where does FAMU fall? FAMU falls kind of in the middle between Alabama State and Jackson, where FAMU plays Prairie View, who was 6-6 a year ago, Southern, who was 6-5, and Texas Southern, who was 3-8.
Who has the easiest road coming out of the West?
Based on their cross division?
Correct.
Well, that would be UAPB, who UAPB plays Alabama A&M, Jackson State, and Mississippi Valley State.
And that's the easiest road?
Well, it's based in large part because Mississippi Valley State was so poor, and you're not playing FAMU. You know, remember,
or Alabama State,
or Bethune. You know, you're not playing the two teams out of the East who had the worst records were Bethune and Valley. So UAPB is actually, you know, they've got Valley. You know, nobody from the West has Valley and
Bethune.
So you pick you get one of the two. You know, you get one of the two. They're really the West. I'm telling you now, the West is really going to come down to the last 2 weeks, because
it'll be the mess in the West again.
It will, and it'll come down to who does not have to play. In my opinion, I'm trying to see who doesn't have to play. You know, Jackson, Alabama State, and FAMU. Somebody's got to play two of those three. I'm not sure anybody plays all three of them. As I kind of do a quick glance at the schedule. For example, Alcorn plays Jackson State and Alabama State, but they don't play FAMU. Grambling only has to play Alabama State. Prairie View has to play Alabama State and FAMU, but they don't play Jackson State. Southern only has to play FAMU. So Southern and Grambling, Drew, might have the best opportunities based on the cross-division games, because they only have to play one of the predicted top three teams. And, of course, we're saying predicted, with all respect, of course, to Alabama A&M and Bethune. You know, it just is what it is. The top three predicted teams, I believe, will be in some order: Alabama State, Jackson State, FAMU. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
All right. Any other scheduling things that you're interested in? if I were to tell you overall record, the teams with the easiest record based on last year's statistics or numbers would be Florida A&M and Alcorn. Opponents last year for Alcorn were 37 and 52. And for FAMU, they were 38 and 51 a year ago. You know, so that's just overall in terms of, you said who had the easiest. Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman are the two teams outside of, and I say this, outside of Valley and Texas Southern. Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman, you know, play schedules against opponents that have that total a percentage, win percentage of better than 50%. So, so 1, 2, 3, we've got in no particular order: FAMU, Jackson State, Alabama State. In the West, I'm going to go on a limb here, Drew. Watch me here. I got a feeling I got a feeling the voters are going to somehow put Jackson State in as the preseason #1, followed up by maybe FAMU and Alabama State. I think all three will get votes, but I think in terms of numbers, I think they'll go Jackson State 1, FAMU 2, Alabama State 3.
I
Just
think
my guess.
I'm thinking they're going to put Alabama State 1, FAMU 2, Jackson State 3.
All right.
In the West, everybody get a vote.
Everybody but Texas Southern. I'm going everybody but Texas Southern will get a vote.
Even UAPB?
Everybody but UAPB and Texas Southern. No, you know what? Somebody will probably vote UAPB. Somebody will probably give UAPB a vote, but they shouldn't, in my opinion. I don't know. You will have 4 teams: Alcorn, Grambling, Prairie View, Southern. It's crazy to me to think that the team that has been to the SWAC championship game the last 2 years, I think that's Prairie View, won't get the 1 seed. So I'm going to go Prairie View. I think Prairie View will get the predicted #1. Not saying that is what I think will happen at the end of the season in November, but I'm just trying to predict the predicted order.
Well, Brian, when you think about your predicted 2, 3, and 4 all have new head coaches this year, it would not shock me that Prairie View would be the #1 out the West.
Yeah. I think that's how a lot of people will think about that. I see my FAMU people. Yes, Steve Campbell says FAMU not be selected #1. They'll probably be placed 3rd. Dr. Lori, good to see you, Doc. She said we don't want to be #1. FAMU, we don't want to be #1. I agree with her on that one.
Brian.
Yeah.
Question. First-year head coach. Normally, a first-year head coach who has success winds up in the championship game or winds up winning the championship game is usually the kiss of death, because from a fan's perspective, they left no meat on the bone, correct? Because they won their first year, right? They have nowhere to go but down. Is James Colsey at FAMU the exception? Where what I mean by that is, if he does not win his first year, is it going to be the same effect as if for other coaches who win their first year and then can never regain that lightning in the bottle? If he doesn't catch lightning this year, what's going to be the chatter from Raptor Nation? Because all the other first-year head coaches do not have that expectation that he has. Becoming an internal head coach.
Wait a minute. What are you saying? Other coaches don't have what expectation? You don't think
as far as, I mean, everybody, most people, when they have a first-year head coach, they know they need to give him 2-3 years to build.
You forgot already a year ago, Jackson State wanted TC to run it back. You don't think Jackson State had the expectations of running it back?
Exactly. TC is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. With that, what happened to TC last year? Is that going to be James Colsey? He's never going to be as good as that, even if Colsey wins this year, because he has nowhere to go but now.
I'm not following you here on this one, Drew, because I think Jackson State was a game away from being in possible playoff contention as the number 2 team. They lost that game at home to Alabama State. They probably should have won that game. Could have won that game. So if they win that game, they're an 8-3 club that, if I'm not mistaken, was still getting votes in the FCS poll. They could have gotten that large bid into the playoffs. I'm trying to think. 3 losses. I don't recall.
Here's the good thing this year, Brian. FAMU and Jackson State will not be eliminated week 1 of the season.
Yeah, that's the one good thing. No, yeah, we save that battle for October 19th game of the year. Game of the year. Let's kind of take a second, Drew, and kind of stick our head over in the CIAA.
Can we take a break before we go to CIAA?
Yeah. Let's take a.
Let me make this one quick announcement.
Short break. Yeah.
Don't forget about Wednesday, Brian. The Cricket BX SWAC Challenge kickoff press conference. Oh, excuse me. That date has now been changed, Brian. It is now July 27th at 11 a.m. instead of Wednesday.
Well, that means I can go back home sooner then.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, see, I was planning on sticking around. Well, that's good to know. Did that just come out? When did that just come out?
I received a text from John Grant.
Oh, doggone it. Okay. Well, okay. So good to know. Breaking news right here on the BCSN.
Breaking news. Yeah, I received a text from him because originally it was scheduled for the day after SWAC Media Day.
Right. I was looking forward to going from Atlanta.
Birmingham.
Yeah, from Birmingham to Atlanta for that.
Yeah, you too.
Is he still doing his event Tuesday night?
I'm going. I will.
You let me know in the. Yes, that's just my plans. Not that I'm gonna go home early, but it just means I can kind of do some family stuff instead.
I'll try to give him a call during this break and see if he responds. All
right, let's take a quick timeout. Come back and do a stick our toe in the pool with the CIAA Media Day, Football Media Day. That'll be on Wednesday, the 17th. And so we'll find out, what they have going on. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back here in just a moment.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, clean bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum design for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
Yeah, we in a break. I just went off camera. I was just trying to find out quickly.
We're back live. Welcome back. AD Drew still live. Checking. Thank you. Welcome back to the BCSN Sports Wrap. Bryan and AD here. As you can tell, AD is on the phone doing some investigative work in the background. Want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching us. Hit the thumbs up and the like button wherever you are, however you're watching us. Good to see you guys. I would throw more of your comments up on the screen, but I'm having a few little technical quirks. Again, I'm on location in Atlanta, Georgia. Drew's in Atlanta. Both of us are away from our normal home studios. But we're heading over to Birmingham tomorrow for SWAC Media Day on Tuesday. We'll have live coverage right here on the Black College Sports Network. Make sure you're following us at MyBCSN1. All of the shows that are part of the Black College Sports Network will be in the house. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Doc Charles, probably Mike Washington, will be in the building. Myself and Kelvin Rozier from the ONG Strike Zone will be there. Carlos Brown will be in the house on his show is on Saturday. Carlos, I believe, we know Charles Edmond of Alcorn State Sports. He will be there. Of course, you can hear Charles with Carlos on Saturdays. and AD will be there as well. I know Jamie Walker will be. I think Jamie Walker will be there. I haven't confirmed with him, but he was at SIAC Media Day. All right, Drew. Any updates there from Mr. Grant regarding events?
Yes. There is an update. That was the date. He typed the date in there incorrectly. The press conference is still going to be held on Wednesday. The Cricket SWAC kickoff press conference will be held this Wednesday, July 17th. You know how the one and the two are next to each other when you're trying to text, Brian. And that'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And that's going to be on, I believe it's going to be on ESPN Plus is where it's going to be live. Participants will be, of course, John Grant, Executive Director of the Cricket SWAC Challenge and the Cricket Celebration Bowl, FAMU Head Coach James Cozy, Norfolk State Head Coach Dawson Odom, and the event will be moderated by Jay Walker of Howard grad and ESPN fame.
All right, good stuff. All right, so looking forward to being over there for that.
And our other thing, Brian, that I want to talk about on there will not occur on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, offline, you have to.
We'll talk. We have to talk.
Make sure you tweet that information out, or in our chat group, text that out. Because I don't know if everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Okay. The CIAA. Speaking of Wednesday, while the SWAC Challenge presser is going on, the CIAA will have their media day on Wednesday, the 17th. This is the first year that first year in, I don't know, several years, maybe decades, that the CIAA will no longer decide the champions or the teams that play in the championship game based on divisions. Following the same playbook of the SIAC from a year ago, it's an open league where, based on the standings, the two best teams based on record will go and compete in the CIAA. Of course, the defending champions, I got to think about this for a second. It's Fayetteville State, correct?
Fayetteville State was the regular season
yeah.
champion. Virginia Union won the championship game.
Okay, right. Fayetteville State won it the year before. That's what
Correct.
I was trying to do the math here. So
Fayetteville State defeated Shawan 2 years ago.
That's what it was. Okay. Yep. Thank you. I'm glad you remember that. Okay, so
kicked them out the conference.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if the predicted order of finish is anything other than Virginia Union and Fayetteville State. I think that is the most likely 1 and 2 team. Do you agree, disagree? Do you see anybody outside of those two teams being the predicted order of, 1, 2?
It would not surprise me, Brian. Well, yeah, it would. Yeah, the predicted to be Union, Fayetteville. And honestly, it should be Fayetteville over Union. Because Fayetteville still, despite the fact that they've gone divisionless, this year they still use the division format. Because the schedules were already made when they decided to go divisionless due to St. Aug dropping football. So, because Fayetteville is playing a South schedule, which the South has tended to be the weaker of the two divisions. Not sure who the crossover games are.
I'll tell you. I think
Okay.
you may scratch your head at this when you think about their crossovers this year. Fayetteville's crossovers this year are at Virginia State and home against Bowie State. And let me see if I can find the other one. Those were the two. They also play Elizabeth City State, but of the two notable teams, Virginia State and Bowie are the two notable teams to me.
I mean, let's be real. Fayetteville's going to should win nothing less than 6 games.
In conference?
Yes, in conference.
Okay.
Let's give them a split with those other 2 games. That's 7-1. That's going to get you to the championship game, Bryan.
7-1 gets you in. Okay.
Okay. Well, and who does Union, without even crossing over, already has 2 tough games.
Correct.
With Virginia State and Bowie.
Right.
Give them let's give them a split. Let's give them a split. 7-1.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Their crossovers. It is true that Virginia Union does not play Fayetteville State, but they travel to Johnson C. Smith, they host Shaw, and they host Winston-Salem.
That sounds more like 6-2.
Okay.
Once again, that's why I think Fayetteville State, although they'll go chalk and go Union 1, Fayetteville 2, if you actually look at it, you may want to reconsider that.
I think here are the big questions I have going into the CIAA. Is Johnson C. Smith real, or was last year Fugazi? Was it real? Did I see what I saw?
Johnson C. is real.
Okay.
And
so
I base that on the history of the head coach.
If Johnson C. is real
and what he did at Fort Valley.
So that brings the question. Shaw has always been, we looked at Shaw and the coaching. Their coach has been there 9 years. But they've been 500 under him. 25-25. Shaw is one of those teams that, they are what they are. They're a 500 team. They've been the bridesmaid for many years in the CIAA South. So will Shaw be what they have been, or will they step it up? I don't think Shaw will be less than what they have been, put it like that. And then will Winston-Salem, they too have, their coach has been there for several years, pre-pandemic even. What are we going to get from Winston? I think those are the two big questions among those 3 teams. Is Johnson C., Shaw, and Winston-Salem, are they going to be competitive contenders? Meaning, are they teams that potentially are going to finish between 3 and 6 when it's all said and done? And if they are falling between 3 and 6, who did they knock off to determine who is 1 versus 2? Does that make sense?
It makes 100% sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But Bryan, let's be real. I think 3 of the top 4 are going to come from the former North.
You're basing that off of just what, history?
History. But it would not surprise me at all if Johnson C. crashes the party.
Let me throw a couple outliers here. Isaiah Freeman, he is the reigning offensive player of the year in the conference. He plays for Lincoln, PA. Does Lincoln, PA, and I was trying to see if I could quickly pull up the standings here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. And then speaking of players of the year, Willie Drew. I got to take a peek here and see, is Willie Drew still even at Virginia State? Because I want to say I thought he was draft eligible. Yeah, Willie Drew is he signed an undrafted free agent with the Panthers, so he's no longer there. So I'm not really sure who Virginia State, who their key returner is.
Look, Virginia Union somehow still has Jada Byers.
Well, yeah, that's a name that we have forgotten. Who I mean, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow he wasn't Offensive Player of the Year, but it'll be interesting between he and Freeman, which one of those two guys will be preseason Offensive Player of the Year.
In this day and age of transfer portal and kids transferring up to get themselves perceived better draft eligible, all credit goes to Dr. Parker for keeping that young man around. But I think there's a sense of loyalty, because when Jada Byers tore his knee up his senior year of high school, Alvin Parker was one of the few people who still offered him.
Great point. Great point. Any other storylines that you're interested in from the CIAA outside of the fact, how's the new conference schedule gonna play out?
What we still gonna do about those two teams that's missing in one game?
That's a good point. The uneven schedule. Yeah, that's a good question.
Which two teams were those again? I couldn't remember who they were, but I knew it was two teams. They were missing one conference game.
I think it was,
and they already had each other on the schedule, so it wasn't as simple as them go play each other.
Johnson C and Fayetteville.
Was it those two?
Yeah, because right now, unless Fayetteville State has added, I've only got 7 conference games for Fayetteville State.
And same thing with Johnson C, who already play each other. That really makes this interesting, Brian.
No, it's not Johnson C. Johnson C somehow has 8, so they must have already been able to pick up somebody. I'm not sure how they did that. And maybe it's Lincoln. No, I don't know who the 8th is, Drew. I'll have to go look. I know Fayetteville State is one of them. I thought I had this figured out, but I guess not.
So we're talking about a team who will be one of the front runners in the conference, who's going to be a game short. How's that going to play out, Brian?
That's a great question. I'm doing a quick check of the schedule just to make sure I'm seeing it right. So, all right. What else? While I'm looking for that, what else do you got?
That's like I say that. I am really interested in the Tuskegee Johnson C. Smith game at the beginning of the year. That's going to say a lot about these two teams.
Yeah, I think that's a great matchup in the HBCU that's the Black College Football Hall of Fame game, right?
No, that would be the Red Tails Classic.
Red Tail, okay. Okay. Right. Yeah, that is a good one. I don't know why I can't pull up this schedule, Drew, but maybe it's because
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. Oh, the Fayetteville schedule.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
all right.
It's Livingstone.
Livingstone is the other.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Livingstone and Fayetteville State. So one of the two teams that you expect to contend is one conference game short, and Livingstone and Fayetteville State already play each other, so it's not as simple as unless they go play each other twice.
Right. Jesus. You imagine? Yes, that's interesting. Maybe they have to shorten the schedule to 7 games.
Everybody else is 8.
That's what I'm saying. They may have to shorten it to 7.
Well, let's see if they give us some answers Wednesday.
Yep, that'd be the best way to find it.
Like I say, that you have to figure it out because nobody else has any open dates on their schedule.
Right. Okay. Coming out of football, I think there was a couple other significant news stories that happened over the past 72 hours, Drew.
Can I ask you a question, Brian?
Sure.
What was more of a news dump? Talladega announcing the gymnastics program on Friday, or what happened in Tallahassee?
I'm gonna tell you the one that happened in Atlanta, because the fact that you didn't mention that tells me that was a bigger news dump than what happened in Tallahassee and Talladega.
I was on the road Friday, so help me out.
Well, it wasn't just one university or college university president, HBCU, that stepped away.
You are correct. I forgot about that one.
So in case you were under a rock and missed it, on Friday morning, Florida A&M President Dr. Larry Robinson made the announcement that he will be stepping down from his position as the president. The date had not been determined. My sources have said anywhere from the announcement of when may come Friday. But there's also a board of trustees meeting happening in August. The same board of trustees meeting in which hopefully the contract of the men's basketball coach will be.
We can't vote on the basketball contract because we've got a name of interim president. We got other important business to do. We're going to push this back. We're going to push this back to September.
That'd be the most FAMU thing ever. So I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen there.
That's story one.
That's story one. Then you had the story from Morehouse College, excuse me. I believe it's President David Thomas, Dr. David Thomas, said that he will retire next June. Now, he'll finish out the 24-25 year. The 24-25 year. Again, different. One president is resigning. Not well, some people say that. But that's resigning. Just don't know the official date yet. While the other college president is letting you know that he is retiring in a year, which gives Morehouse an opportunity to spend a year looking for his replacement, while Florida A&M will go through the process of naming an interim before they go through the process of finding a permanent president.
Replacement, yes.
Yeah.
And Emmett Jones, I see your comment in the chat. according to what I've seen, he's going to take a sabbatical, and then he is going to return to campus before he officially retires. Do I have that correct, Brian?
Is that what you're hearing about Dr. Robinson?
Yes, I've seen a report. I've been moving around, but I saw a report he's going to take a sabbatical after he resigns, and then he will return because he is tenured faculty at Florida A&M. So, in essence, they got to find a spot for him if he wants to be there.
Okay, I've got enough people in the chat saying that's true. I did not. I'll admit I didn't read his whole statement and everything. So, I'm a headline reader, sadly. So, but okay, well, good for Dr. Robinson.
So he had 3 news dumps on Friday.
Yeah. I think the Talladega one was the one that they were hoping they could put out, and then, hey, everybody go into the weekend and we'll talk to y'all later. That was the one that I think of all of them, that was the news dump. If you had asked me which of the 3 was the news dump, it was the Talladega story, most definitely. Because if you read in that statement on the GoFundMe page, the one that was going to be the most heart-tugging and that people were going to have to answer some questions about during the week, that would have been the story. And no one wanted to have to answer questions about, why are y'all cutting why are y'all getting rid of these girls, Black Girl Magic and all this other stuff. And here come the Olympics. The Olympics are coming, but you're getting rid of, we have all these Black girls and dark and brown colored girls in the Olympics, but you're getting rid of gymnastics. Oh, that would have been a lot of questions to have to answer on a Thursday or Friday. That no one wants to do that. No one wants to do that.
No, let me have a weekend. It's like
you drop it at 1 o'clock on Friday, and everybody's out the door by 3. You don't have to answer the phones, and
And Brian, I am mad at my alma mater. Just when North Carolina.
Which one?
Well, the orange and green one.
Okay, gotcha.
Just when Central has stole all the headlines about what's going on there with their athletic department and their deficit, and God dog if FAMU had to go and outdo them.
Central? What do you mean?
North Carolina Central.
Oh,
everybody's focus was on North Carolina Central until FAMU dropped it. Until FAMU dropped this story.
Well.
Also, one other news note, Brian. How about congratulations to Miles College?
What'd they do?
They won the bid against Alabama A&M for the Birmingham Southern campus.
Did they?
Yes.
Well, what does that mean for Miles College, Drew?
And that we don't know yet. That they have not announced. But the fact that they will be able to acquire that property is huge for Miles College, who is essentially landlocked over in Fairfield, Alabama. Now, there's going to be a little bit of bumping heads because the mayor of Fairfield says Miles will remain in Fairfield, and they will probably do some stuff on the original campus. But you're talking about a Birmingham Southern campus that's much closer to downtown. A larger campus, has some newer facilities, so both athletic and academic facilities, and most importantly, dorm space at that campus also. So it's going to be interesting what this is going to happen over this transition once they get all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. So congratulations to Miles College.
All right. Shout out to a few people I see in the chat room. I see Simone Stanley jumped in. Good to see you, Simone. Looking forward to seeing you at SWAC. Yep, seeing you at SWAC Media Day.
And she was all over the place at SIAC Media Day. Just grabbing people. Come over here and talk. Come over here and talk.
I mean, when you're Simone, you can do that, you can do
Who's
that.
gonna tell her no?
Who's gonna say no? Exactly. I saw in there Cedric Walker jumping in. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Cedric. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Got to make mention, Drew, the HBCU Swingman Classic was Friday night. Congratulations to Cam Buford, who won the T-Mobile Impact Award. The award highlights a player whose leadership and commitment has a strong impact on and off the field. I'm also looking to see was it Kyle Walker who I'm trying to see who won the any particular awards. But I will say this. Okay, so I'm watching. I did tune in. I tuned in for about 3 or 4 innings. Slow, low-scoring game. I will never forget one of our first baseball events, Drew, that you and I did. Okay. I remember we, were calling the game, and we had a lot of people that our producer was bringing into the box. They wanted us to talk to people during the game.
I remember that game.
Okay, and at
we were in Nashville.
I don't know which one of the events it was.
We were in Nashville.
It could have been. I think it was maybe the one in Montgomery. But anyway, so as you try to do when you have guests come into the box for a baseball game, you're talking to them, you're interviewing while the game is going on.
Right.
And I'll never forget, I called, I had, my father happened to be watching that particular broadcast. And I'll never forget, after the game, I got a call. And he was like, son, you guys spent way too much time talking to people who weren't on the field. I was like, he's like, I wanted to know about the people in the game. If you got to think there's somebody's son that is in the game at that moment, and you guys shared nothing about him, didn't talk about him. Instead, you were talking about the person that you were interviewing. And I was like, Dad, you're right. It wasn't that we didn't have anything to talk about any of the players on the field.
We just lost our focus.
We just lost focus because we had this guest VIP and they wanted us to talk to them during the middle of the game and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so I never forgot that. And I don't know how you make it all work where you make your guest a part of the broadcast, but you should try. And I think we later, after hearing that, I think we later tried to do that. It's always awkward. It's the only sport that I've noticed that you try to bring in a guest in the middle of the action and then do an interview / play-by-play. So here I am, you're stuck trying to do an interview at the same time you're trying to do play-by-play.
No.
So that's what I experience as I'm watching the HBCU Swingman Classic. As I'm watching and listening, I'm watching the game, but at the same time, I'm listening to Harold Reynolds and I don't know, whoever else was in the box with Harold. And they were talking to various people that were, I'm assuming, had come by the booth, VIP dignitaries, to talk about whatever was going on and why this was such an important event and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time,
which is an important conversation.
Okay, but at the same time, nothing was said about the player at the plate, the pitcher. No, and I literally I listened to about 3 innings, and it just kind of hit me, and I was like, man, y'all doing a lot of talking about everything but the guys who are actually playing in the game.
You know the problem, Brian? On a regular season broadcast, on your local school's broadcast or something like that, you can get away with those stories a lot more because you're assuming that the people who are tuned in already know general information about the players playing. In an all-star type of event, you are correct, Brian. You've got to be able to tell the story of the people who are playing, especially if some of these people will only be getting one at bat or only be playing the field for one inning. Heck, the ball may not even be hit to this person.
Right.
But you still need to mention who the left fielder is. And he's from XYZ University. You know, he's a chemistry major who sports a 3.9 GPA and has done an internship at blah, 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 blah. You know, but, you know.
Talk about his statistics. I mean, baseball's a game that it lives off of statistics.
Cam briefly, he's the all-time home run king at Grambling State University.
Jeremiah Clark said somebody was mispronouncing. I don't know how you mispronounce Cam Buford's name, but unless you call it Bufford.
Maybe
that's what it was.
Probably
I don't
Bufford.
Know. Yeah.
Are you serious? You know, they did. Brian, how many times do we ask before a broadcast? How you say this? How you say their name? Or your real experienced people will make sure we have a pronunciation guide to start the game with.
Yeah. Well, I think at one point I hit mute because I got tired of listening to and look, I get it. I mean, if I've ever been in, if I were in that role and my executive producer or director was like, hey, we got so-and-so coming by. We want you to talk to them. And I always I shudder every time it's been asked of me because the time to do that, Drew, is ideally in between innings. But guess what's happening for television in between innings? Commercials.
Yeah, exactly. You got to pay the bills.
Got to pay the bills.
What's worse, Brian, is when you get that long-winded person who knows nothing about the sport, when you've got a play in the field, and do I cut them off and talk about this spectacular play or this home run or this strikeout or blah, 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 or do I let them keep talking?
Well,
and sometimes you have to cut them off mid-sentence because you have an obligation to describe that play.
Yeah.
Can't get awkward. That's all I can say. And we've both been there.
Yeah. Well, so congratulations to all the 50 young men who did get a chance to play in that event. And hopefully their parents, their families got a chance to hear their name called, and hopefully they got talked about a little bit positively. But that's all. So congratulations again. Can't wait to see where they go, or wherever the MLB All-Star will be for year number 3. Maybe I'll get to it next year. But congratulations. A great wrap-up to the HBCU baseball. And I guess this upcoming week we'll see whether any guys get drafted as the Major League Baseball draft. I think started today, if I'm not mistaken. So it's usually around this All-Star weekend. All right, that's going to do it. I've got to go watch a little bit of this Argentina-Colombia
Brian, we can make next year.
Soccer match.
We can make next year's Swingman Classic.
Oh, where's it at? Isn't it Atlanta?
Here.
Please say it's Atlanta.
It's here where we're at.
Oh, there it is. We're there. I'm there. I'm already booking my my plans. I'll be in Atlanta. That'll be great. Oh, thank you. Oh, praise Jesus. All right, so Atlanta, exactly. Atlanta, unofficial home of the SWAC. Exactly, Jeremiah.
Citizens Bank in 26.
Citizens Bank. Where's that? Is that
Philly.
New York?
Philly.
Oh, Philly. Oh, I know somebody that'll be going to that one, I'm sure. Philly girl.
Yeah.
Anyway. Shout out. All right, it's time to get up and out of here. Thank you, everybody, for coming in with us. Looks like it was a great, lively conversations in the chat room. Appreciate all you guys sticking in there, chatting it up. Continue to be kind. Continue to be kind to one another. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up and the like button if you haven't done so already. Make sure you tune in Tuesday morning, live from Birmingham, Alabama. We will have
brunch with the BCSN.
Yeah, brunch. There you go. I like that. Steve Campbell, boy, I tell you, you're too much. Brunch with the BCSN Tuesday morning, live from SWAC Football Media Day. Should be a good time. Hopefully, you will tune in. You'll watch, and more importantly, share and subscribe. From all of our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, however you're watching and consuming the content, please make sure to share the stream. And don't forget about the BCSN Pod Zone. For those of you who enjoy podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple and Google Podcast, BCSN Pod Zone. Be a subscriber and join us there as well. Drew, final thought.
Yeah, we got through all 13 teams at SIAC Media Day. Now our goal is to make sure we get to interview all 12 teams at SWAC Media Day. And there have been some years we haven't gotten to all 12 teams. Or even back in the 10-team SWAC. We didn't get to all 10 teams. So let's see if we can get all 12 of them. Let's see. We need a designated runner to go pull the SIDs over to get them over to the show, to get the head coaches and the players over to the show.
That's what we should have done. We needed that, and if we find that person, I will.
That's kind of how we had to do it at the SIAC.
Right, and I'm going to advise that person: do not tap anybody on the shoulder. I'm sorry, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to follow your advice, Edwin Moore. There will be no shoulder tapping at the SWAC Media Day. Promise. Let me see. Brian has a commissioner. Oh, okay. So yeah, ask the commissioner, when are we getting our check from HBCU Go? That is a question that I'm going to be looking to kind of find out what the financial numbers are like. I don't know if he will.
He won't.
I usually kind of find those things off the record, like off camera. So that is a question that usually you can find out kind of off camera. But yeah, I've seen the schedule of football games from HBCU Go and the ESPN. Next week, I'll put together a little graphic and kind of show you all of the games. This was what I will say. I will say, among all of the much ballyhooed announcement from ESPN and HBCU Go games and everything, there's a lot more games that are still open and available to be broadcast. And there's enough food on the table for everyone to eat and for every school to have an opportunity to have their games broadcast. Right. And I will show that to you next week. But I just wanted to say that as we get ready to close.
All right. You're a betting man, Brian. Last 3 years, the SWAC has had an increase in the number of media credentials. Will that trend continue this year?
From what to what to what? Do you have the exact numbers?
I know it was well north of 200 last year. I don't remember what the number was, but it was north of 200 last year.
So you mean it didn't take a dip the year after, Dion?
No, it was more last year. So will that continue this year?
Yes.
Okay.
So it may be slight, but it'll be more. Yeah. Yes, it will.
I'm hoping it does.
I hope so too. It's always good to see some new people.
Yeah. And I actually, Brian, I look forward to tomorrow night.
Oh, the early. Oh, be quiet, Drew. Don't tip this off. Don't. Some other people, other shows may be watching, Drew. Don't say what I think you might say.
No, I won't say tomorrow night. I just look forward to the conversations that you have with coaches, SIDs, and administrators off camera, off the record.
Yeah, a lot of that does happen Monday night. Yeah, definitely. We do
Monday night
and
Tuesday night. And Tuesday night for those teams that stay over, those conversations are really when you get personal with the coaches and the SIDs and people like that. That's a much more enjoyable part of the job when you see people, as they say, with their hair down.
Yes. All right. We got to get out of here. And we will wish everyone who's traveling to SWAC Media Day safe travels to Birmingham. We'll see you on the road. We'll see you in Birmingham next time you see us. And Drew, one little thing here. We have to be on the lookout. We have to step our efforts up. Our picks contest are, and I'm calling this unofficially, Battle of the Broadcasters. Battle of the Broadcasters, our picks contest that we try to do with other podcasters, broadcasters. We got to figure out a way how to ramp that up. So we're going to see everybody. So I don't know if we got to make a little flyer or something really on the fly. And we got to find a way to keep people into our contest for next year. So
it's really going to be on the fly considering we're both going to be on the road tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm just seeing a text here that there were 400 credentials the year for 400 media applications the year of Prime.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people who were actually credentialed because a lot of people, some people were turned down.
All right. Well, we'll find.
Andrew Roberts will let us know.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what he says. But all right, that's going to do it. We promise. We're out. Hey, thank you to everybody. Make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe to the network. Thank you to everybody watching on Instagram and X. Thank you to everybody on YouTube and Facebook for participating in our chats. You guys be well. And don't forget, go check out that GoFundMe page for Talladega Gymnastics. Make sure to keep that story going. Maybe they'll catch a big fish here in the next week or two. Would love to see that program continue to stay alive and go forth. All right. That's going to do it for A.D. Drew. I'm Brian Fulford. Thank you to Keisha Kelly, Black College Experience. Make sure to check her out. We had her on the show for a little bit, but we'll see her live and in person on Tuesday. So that's going to do it for the BCSN Sports Wrap. We will see you all Tuesday morning from Birmingham, Alabama. Peace out,
everybody. Well, holla.